curse for this town. Put all in my mouth. Only I don't know how. They got out here. Turn me back into the bed.
Hello.
I was when we met. I
Hello.
was happy
Am I coming in? Hello. There I am. Good morning and welcome to the morning show. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I know that last week the music and the phones and the calls and it kind of like went in and out. Hopefully it's better this week. They get reposted on the podcast app and on YouTube, and the audio is pretty good there. The phone callers sound crazy loud sometimes. But I think that's just amp. Oh, we fixed that too?
I fixed it last week.
We got kind of a crazy tech setup here, but morning. Welcome to the morning show. This is a show about kind of nothing at all. It's just all my ancillary interests. So random American towns, poetry, movies, books, TV shows, more than movies. Not really a movie guy, but neither is like anyone. Only movies that come out are like Marvel movies now. What's the last movie I liked? I don't even know. Have no idea. It's Tuesday. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I wish I could see all your names, but I can't. Who are some of the callers? I can see those names. What are they? Maddie's with me today. Couldn't hear you. It was a tough one.
Evolos. 224.
Okay.
He called in right when we had opened it up.
Let's get him in right away. He'll set the pace for the whole damn show.
Yeah, he's invited, so there's
Okay.
a lot riding on it.
A lot riding on this first caller on the morning show.
Could you imagine if he just doesn't pick it up?
Here's the first requested to join right away. Evolos. We got some claps. That's cool. You can see claps happening a lot. Not joining?
Not joining.
Uh-oh. I mean, that's setting the tone for the show, and that's a really tough start. Super tough tone for the show to start it off.
Gone. Unbelievable. But I'll just invite the next person.
Oh, my goodness. Who's this?
Scarlet Cactus.
Scarlet, we're going to need you to pick up what Evolo just dropped. We're in a tailspin now. The show was riding on him.
Yeah.
Now it's out. My goodness. Uh-oh. Is Scarlet not answering either?
No answer.
No way. Is this on our end or their end? That's a bizarre audience. Everyone wants to talk and then doesn't. Oh, no.
Bad News Bears all over the place. Gone.
Gone.
Oh, boy.
No, and Scarlet's gone. The show is off to an awful start.
We haven't struck out.
Okay, this is a risky third one. Who are you going to?
The always reliable Uncle John.
All right, yeah.
Is
Our
next.
buddy in
we
Alabama.
have to know.
Our buddy in Alabama. Uncle John, you've called into every show. Eventually, we're not going to be able to take your call because we got to hear some new voices. But my goodness, do we need... Hello, Uncle John.
Jim.
That was important, man. Thank you very much.
Dude, you were over 2, and I felt pressure. I didn't know if the technology was going to work. I didn't want you to strike out.
Thankfully, you helped me out, but you made Scarlet and Evolos look awful.
Well, can't help them there. Kind of do it to yourself. You wake up, you look and see the man in the mirror, and then you don't call into the morning show. It's really the only person to blame.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I chugged my coffee, and now I don't know what we're going to talk about today, but we'll figure it out along the way.
I have a question for you.
I love that. Yes.
Do you poop at parties?
Oh, yeah. If I have to go to the bathroom, I'll go to the bathroom. Bar, party.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I really have the ability to not sometimes. So I just got over that real quick.
I had a work party last night. I worked part-time at a coffee shop here in Auburn, and I was like mid-conversation with somebody. I had a big slice of cheesecake.
And you're at a
mid-convo. What's that?
And a coffee shop.
It was at the owner's house. So we weren't at the shop. Is that what you're asking?
Oh, you're at the owner's house. Oh, yeah. Well, a
Yeah.
coffee shop. That's a popular poop spot for a lot of people.
You would love it. It's a bookstore and a coffee shop. It's called Well Read.
Ooh, okay. I do like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
like that.
if you're ever in Auburn, stop by. But yeah, I pooped at the party. It was nice.
That is nice. Sometimes you need
Yeah.
to. I was, bars. I didn't care. I mean, if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go to the bathroom. Everyone goes to the bathroom.
Yeah. There's no social setting that is really worth a heavy amount of discomfort. So
I never get
your
that.
answer
Some
might
people are
be
like, I
yes.
never poop in public. I'm like, what? Like, how do you? That's congrats on the control, but is there a lot of discomfort for all those hours before you actually get to? I don't know. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, you got to give me a random number. It can be 1 through 250. We got a big array of numbers that you can give me now.
What's writing on this?
Whatever poem I read.
Okay.
The last caller, Abe, chose his random number. The page led to a pretty sad poem. So, be better.
Is this out of Wyoming still?
No, it's I got Billy Collins here. He's Aimless Love is the book. Billy Collins. He's good.
Okay, I'd like to hear page 45.
45. All right, we'll get to that. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, good to talk to you again. See you soon.
See ya. Page 45. So this is Billy Collins. If people that listen to the old morning show, they probably remember him. Like Ted Kooser I like a lot, but Billy Collins has some good ones. He's got one called Shoveling with Buddha. That's pretty popular. But this page 45 is actually the start of the new chapter in the book. So we're going to have to pivot to 46, which is a blank page. So now we're pivoting to 47, which is a 3-page long poem. So now we're flipping to the next one that's only a page long. And, okay, I found it. It's called In the Evening. I wonder if we've done this already because we did a lot. In the Evening. You ready? What a weird show. The guy who does silly lip reading videos reads poetry. Thanks for tuning in. I mean, the people that do, because this is a weird show. I appreciate you all. All right, so let's figure this one out. Billy Collins, In the Evening. And then we'll take another call and see where we go next. The heads of roses begin to droop. The bee, who has been hauling her gold all day, finds a hexagon in which to rest. This just seems like things that happen in the evening. I think that's the vibe I'm picking up. In the sky, traces of clouds, the last few darting birds, watercolors on the horizon, orange sky. Zach Bryan's got a new song called In the Orange. Do you know Zach Bryan? Do you like country music? I don't picture you as someone that likes country music.
What do you picture me as?
Like indie rock, like the Shins. I feel like you would like the Shins, who I started the show with. What do you like?
Unfortunately, just pop.
Okay.
Like Drake.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about you, that you're like the new cool stuff. Like you like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Shins are good too.
Oh, yeah. Second to Drake.
Second to Drake, yeah. The white cat sits facing a wall. The horse in the field is asleep on its feet. Do horses? I thought horses lay down sometimes. They can sleep on their feet too? They definitely sleep laying down. I've seen Seabiscuit so many times.
I feel like the birthing ones lay down.
Yeah.
For sure.
I light a candle on the wood table. I take another sip of wine. I pick up an onion and a knife. And the past and the future, nothing but an only child with 2 different masks. I pick up an onion and a knife. He's just starting to cook. I light a candle on the wood table. I take another sip of wine. I pick up an onion and a knife. Is that supposed to be like a layers? That's kind of like a really, using onion to represent different layers of feelings is kind of like very elementary these days, but
I don't know. I feel like you're going English teacher on me.
I pick up an onion and a knife, and the past and the future. I don't know. I kind of got lost at the end there. He's just starting to cook.
That's the end?
That's the end.
Oh, that didn't feel like an end.
And the past and the future, ? Nothing but an only child with 2 different masks. Which is like layers? I don't know. Yeah, Billy, you lost me at the end. Someone else can figure that one out. I thought he was just painting a scene. Like he just sat down, just painting a scene.
Whatever's on the table, just write about that.
I have some things that I've been consuming lately that I will put in the ether, and if anyone wants to talk about them that calls in or just ask a question, think behind the scenes questions are welcome, or any question is welcome. I am starting to watch the new Starz show called Gaslit with Julia Roberts about Watergate scandal, and I'm liking it enough. I watched the National Lacrosse League playoffs and some NHL playoffs. I watched a good amount of sports this weekend because the Yankees were off, so I had free time. And then also, Katie, my water heater, my water pump burst in my house, so the basement's flooded. So my home office is now, it's the first thing we spent money on to fix in the basement. So I had a place to work from. Gone. Everything we did is out. The walls aren't even there anymore because they found mold. So Katie went down the shore with James to not be in a construction zone. So I was home alone with no water, just watching a lot of sports. It was kind of cool. I kind of lost my mind. It's kind of like a glimmer into like, what would I do if I was a single man right now? And then it's like halfway, like for like maybe, like I watched the full cricket game and then I watched the next cricket game and I was like, wow, Saturday alone, not bad. And then I was like, this stinks. Where's Katie and James? Like, where are my friends at?
You just go in water bottles?
Oh, so what I did was I bought a giant jug of water. I knew it was only going to be a day. It was Friday from 7 p.m. until the next day at like 3 in the afternoon. I didn't have water. So I got a giant jug from the grocery store, like a water cooler jug, and I used that. I filled up the back of the tank, so I go to the bathroom. I used that I had ice still in the freezer, so I used that to drink and brush my teeth, and I just didn't shower because I knew it was going to come back on. It's not that long to go without showering on Saturday. It was really fine. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. It was
especially if you're doing nothing.
The worst thing was cleaning. So the house was a mess, and I'm not that helpful. Like if Katie asks me to do something, I'm not like the most helpful. But when I am is I know how important it is to Katie and my mom and a lot of people. Not me. I was gonna say a lot of women, but probably men too. Coming home to a clean house, like when you go on vacation, my mom would be like, "We have to clean." I'm like, "Why?" We're leaving the house for a week because I don't want to walk back into a mess. I grew up knowing that. So the only time I'm like really good about cleaning is if I know Katie's going to come home and the house was a mess. Not really my doing. It was just messy because there was people. We were having a deck built in our backyard as well as a patio. So we have two different construction crews in the backyard and then a construction crew in the basement. So once the water came on, I just cleaned so much because you can't clean without water. Couldn't do the dishes. Couldn't do nothing. It was like, man, water's important, huh? I mopped all the floors. I was cleaning the machine. Did all the dishes. Cleaned up the backyard. Just came home to a nice house. And it was Mother's Day the next day. So I was like, well, you can come home Saturday night, be exhausted, sleep, and then wake up Mother's Day with a dirty house. So I went pretty crazy on the cleaning, which you need water. So that was my Saturday. I thought I watched more shows that I was going to share, but now I can't think about that. Cuddled with James last night, and that was really cool. But then he had an awful night sleeping. He's teething, so I didn't get a lot of sleep. Katie got like no sleep. Eventually, she told me to go sleep in the guest room so I could get like 3 hours before I had to wake up and go to work. But in those 40 minutes of cuddling, man, having a kid, I understand why people are like, oh, whenever people have kids, they only talk about kids because I used to like be that person. But then you have a kid and you're like, well, your whole like life changes and all you care about is this one little fucking nugget. So obviously that's what you're going to talk about all the time. But something that I'm realizing is my sister, Courtney, who's our head of sales here, she would freak out if you started talking about her kids being older. You know, like, oh, when he's in high school, stop. Don't age him, like when he started walking, she's like, oh my God, he's so old. And Courtney's a very dramatic person. So I thought that she was just being dramatic, and she probably was. But when you get like a bad thought in your head, or at least I do, I shake it out. Like I sometimes you could probably see me visibly just, ooh, like stop thinking about that. If it's, there's one image from Band of Brothers or from a war movie that it's like when the guy is like digging, he's trying to dig a trench oh, this sucks. He's trying to dig a trench in the frozen ground, and he rips his fingernails off trying to dig. He's so scared. Whenever someone says the word war, that's what I have that vision of, and it's fucking, I shake it out like I'm doing right now. Same thing if I start thinking about James being any older than he is. My dad said that when I was born, or when my sister was born, his dad, my grandpa, said to him, never wish him older. Like, never wish him, yeah, like, enjoy it. And I get it fully. But sometimes I'm watching like a show. I was watching Crazy Stupid Love. Katie put it on, and then she left. And Crazy Stupid Love with Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell is almost like 8 Mile, by the Eminem movie. The third act is so good that you just wait for it. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
The first 75% is all right. It's cute. It's like good. And then the conclusion, or the, what do they call it? The climax, or the third act is so good. It's like I started skipping. I was like, well, I can't watch like 25% of this movie and not watch that part. And, there I have kids and all that shit. He's talking to kids, and I started thinking about like, oh, well, James, when he's in middle school, and then I shake it out of my brain. It's like a really weird thing. Like, I can't even think about him talking. And then this is going to be sad, really sad. You know, when you read about how this is terrible. You read about how, like in the olden days, like babies died a lot or kids died a lot. And you're like, yeah, he had 3 kids, and like, died at 3 months, died at 4 months. And I guess you kind of like, oh, that's young, like just a baby, I think there's a part of us that's like, oh, well, at least it's not like losing a 13-year-old, and probably not, but James is 6 months, and like, I fucking know him. Like, I know his personality. I know where he's ticklish and where he's not. And it's like, that's like tough. Tougher than when I was a kid and you hear that. Like, yeah, back in the King Henry lost 3 babies.
Yeah.
They were 4 months. Babies are weird. Once heard someone say, I've known this guy for 4 months, and I'd jump in front of a car for him, and I don't even understand it. And he was talking about his son. He's like, no one else would I do that. But then it makes sense. Like, yeah, it's your son. But it's like, yeah, but I don't even know him. I've never talked to him. It's like, well, having a kid's weird, man. Changes your whole way of thinking. Like, I bought Katie a bike for Mother's Day, and I was like, you're wearing a helmet, by the way. You don't have an option now. We have a kid. And I want to get an electric scooter and ride to the train stop, because I drive to my sister's and I walk, and it's nice out now, and it would just be through the park and probably a nice ride on an electric scooter. When you go to like Denver or Austin, you ride on electric scooters. It's fun. I keep just doing the pose like this and saying like, this is going to be me. So I'm trying to get an electric scooter, and I was like, damn, helmets stink. And I was like, well, I'm not going to not wear a helmet. I got a kid now. I had a buddy whose dad crashed and wasn't wearing a helmet, and then was alive, but never the same. And I'm like, I mean, you just fucking never know what's going to happen. Yeah. That's weird. You can't think about yourself at all. It's bizarre. Anyway, that's a weird tangent I had last night while I was laying in bed cuddling with my son. He like snuggles up to you now, which is cool. And he's a little more firm, so I can like wrap my arm around him. Like when he was a tiny baby, I was like, well, I'm not.
Yeah.
My arm is too heavy for your body. You're weak and small.
Right.
He's kind of not that weak anymore. Rips my ear pretty hard. Let's go to the next caller, see if they have anything more uplifting to talk about.
Yeah. I'm going to give them another shot.
Yeah.
Scarlet Cactus, right when they had left before, they had come back.
Wow.
So I've invited them. We'll see if they join.
So this is Scarlet Cactus,
yeah.
Scarlet Letter, Emma Stone, Crazy Stupid Love, Easy A, both movies that she's in where the Scarlet Letter is brought up. How about that? You should watch Crazy Stupid Love. It's good.
I've been told that I should watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, they joined.
Yay!
They just have to unmute themselves.
You got to unmute, and then we can chat away here on the morning show where there's no agenda, and we just ramble about whatever we want. Still says you're muted. Scarlet Cactus. Scarlet a color? Or do you think name Scarlet from Arizona?
They're
How are you doing, John Boy?
Oh, hello. Where
How
does
are
the
we
name
doing?
Scarlet Cactus come from?
It's from Xbox Live, and it's one of those random names.
Okay. I like it. There's such thing as a scarlet cactus. I'm Googling it. I didn't know this. It's pretty.
I don't think there is. I think it's like an algorithm.
I Googled it. It looks like a very pretty rose, but it's a cactus. It's like a rose looking flower that grows inside a cactus. So very pretty, but unapproachable. Is that your vibe?
What? No, I just been pulled up, but yeah, my main question was, what do you think about Gallo?
Oh,
How do you think we
on
can
Talking
get-
Yanks yesterday.
How do you think we can get him going? Because I just joined the Patreon, and I'm trying to get Gallo going. How do we get him going?
I did a whole award on yesterday's episode of Talking Yanks, after the game yesterday about Gallo. So I'll answer quickly, and then we'll continue on. I don't think we can get him. I don't think we can get him going. I don't think he likes playing in New York, and I don't think he likes playing left field. You can't get a good read on the ball out there. I think
It is so hard to see the ball in left field. I don't think people know that enough. It's just the way it is in left field. You just don't see the ball the way you see it in center field.
It's
just
not
hard.
a true read, and
So-
he's clearly not used to that. And he's probably going to be better off playing right field on a different team with a little less pressure, I guess. Or I really don't know, but we're at.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I heard what you were saying about having the guard dog back, and that honestly sounds good. He was looking good last year at the end. He was looking really good.
And not even Gardner, but if you told me that Gallo, we could flip Gallo and he could go somewhere and feel more comfortable and play a position he likes and boost his value. He's not adding anything to the team right now. So if you could flip him, he's got a half year left for, they flipped Hoy Park for Clay Holmes. They flipped Talkman for Wandy Peralta. If you could flip Gallo for another reliever with options or years, and then we just ran Florial out there, Hicks out there, or brought Gardner back, I still think it's better. And can Gallo come around and help the team and have big weeks? Yeah, but he hasn't been playing at all. He hasn't been helping at all, and the team is fine and winning, so he isn't making a difference good, and he's not dragging us down. So if you can trade him in, get him in a better spot, and get something out of it, we would not. If he got injured, I don't want him to get injured, but I mean, if he wasn't the starting left fielder and it was Hicks, the same kind of production in a different way. If it was Florial, there's high side. If it was Gardner, you're going to have someone that sees a lot of pitches and plays a really good left field. So, it's just not like he's not a plus or minus on the team, and you might be able to get something at the deadline. So I think they'll look into it, but unless he starts really coming around. But I'm not really trying to knock him. It's just more like the team clearly doesn't need him because he's not performing well, and it's not hindering them at all. So if you put Hicks out there,
yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just completely awkward, just feels weird.
Yeah, I want Yes to stop
it's
zooming
nothing.
in on him
It's
when he's
nothing
having,
against him.
when he's
it
having
feels
facial
weird.
ticks
It's,
in the dugout. I want Yes to stop zooming in on that. It's awkward.
Yeah, they're really, you know what? And also they need to start. They every single time I'm watching it, they're just kind of talking about their own things, oh, Judge is so this and that, and they never really talk about the pitches and stuff. And I'm just they kind of need to talk a little bit more about the game. And they have their storylines and they have all this nice stuff, but they like really do need to focus a little bit more with like the game, and they will talk like, oh, like Judge has like the like double the second, and they'll like do that stuff, but like I feel like they need to focus a little bit more on like the tactical part of like the game, like what they're doing, stuff like that, because they kind of just go storyline and like what's like actually happening, which you've like talked about, but
Yeah. Well, Apple
like,
TV
really
was
true.
awful with that,
It's
but
like,
Coney's good, and thanks for chatting. We're gonna
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going, but Coney's
right,
good
man.
at that
thank you.
because he's a pitcher, and he's the only pitcher in the booth with Leiter not around anymore, and was there any other pitchers that used to be on? I don't think so. Flaherty does like catching perspective and some pitching perspective, but you got Cameron Maben, O'Neill, Beltran. They're much more from the hitting perspective, but Coney's really good for that. Okay, should we do another caller? My internet is kind of down.
Yeah, and just invited Baseball Today, which I assume is Rob.
Or, yeah, probably Rob. Could be. Let's see.
He'll have great perspective on the baby.
Yeah.
The
He's a good
baby
baby.
combo.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Rob?
Oh, living the dream. Yeah, I heard the baby convo and kind of wanted to call in, get your thoughts on a little bit. But yeah, dude, totally hear you on the whole not wanting them to grow up thing. Isla and I, we watched all 4 Toy Stories this weekend, and it was just like the cutest thing ever. Now she's saying Buzz and, just like Woody, and dude, it's adorable.
Does she like long form content like that? Like, can she watch a full movie?
No, she taps out after like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But it's she'll sit there for that long and then kind of just like hang out with you. Like literally, she's invested in the movie,
Yeah.
So it's so cute. Yeah, we watched a lot of like Daniel Tiger movie or show, and that's got a whole bunch of songs, and so she likes like the more like the songs and everything and the singing and
Musicals. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Every now and then it
But-
sounds like you're underwater. I don't know if that's your hand on the phone or distance or whatever, but
I'll stand up. Maybe that'll help.
no, no, now it's worse.
Oh no, I'll sit back down. Any better?
Kinda. You kind of sound like you're like down a corridor.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get your list. How would you rank the Toy Story movies? Have you seen all of them?
Yes, but I've only seen 3 and 4 once. I'm not an animation or cartoon. We weren't like fans of that growing up at all. My sisters, like, we never really watched cartoons, but we did watch some of the Disney movies and then the Toy Stories. I think 1 is the best. 2, what's the plot of 2? When the toy store ran, that's pretty. I'd probably go in order. The 4th one was too much of an adventure for me, with like the whole carnival and they're like running and jumping. They always do that. I'd probably go in order because I'm just going, like, I only watched the 3rd and 4th because it was like nostalgia porn for our generation.
Yeah. I think I'd swap 3 and 4 because 3, dude, it got so dark.
It got sad.
It was
right?
insane. Yeah. At the end, it gets real sad. And 4 is kind of the same way, but like, dude, it got so dark. They were going into like a garbage pit of like fire and everything like that.
They were all dying
And
and stuff.
It's a little much.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But yeah, anywho, so just want to call and say the baby talk was the best part about this show so far.
Oh, thanks.
And
And what else?
Matty Mass. Just
Oh,
hearing
and
Matty
Matty
Mass
Mass, yes.
talk.
And thanks for calling in. And everyone tune into Baseball Today at next. It's next. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Rob does
11:30.
the 12:30 hour on Fridays with Rourke.
That's right. He's
Cool.
the best. All right, we'll see you guys. Have a good day.
You too, man. See ya.
Yep. The Toy Story,
Yeah.
if they called Toy Story 4 not Toy Story 4, they called it like Woody's Story,
Yeah. You would
I
have.
would bump it up. it doesn't feel like the rest of the Toy Stories are the toys
Yeah, yeah.
pertaining to the kids.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 4 is just the toys pertaining to the toys. So the whole plot line I don't think matches anymore. So I would have just called it like Woody's story, and I think it would have been a very good movie.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Like the aspect of them being part of like Andy's toys was like kind of the connection to the human side of it. That was just an adventure of toys. Like
Yeah.
there was no human connection really, right? The storekeeper and the
Yeah, the storekeeper's granddaughter or whatever, but I just feel like
you hated her.
hated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, all right, what do you want to do next?
Do we have any upcoming like projects here? We obviously announced the raise. I don't think we talked about that. That was last week. I said we had one more announcement, and it was the big fundraising. Man, it feels so good. It feels so good to have that done and now in the open and move on. I didn't want to make that video announcing it. I don't really like. I thought that was kind of an odd announcement to make. We did it in a way that I like because we got to share our investor group and our employees and let people know, because not a lot of people know the full scale of the company, which is, it's fine. I don't, you intake what you intake, but we want to let people know we're a little bigger. But originally I told Connect, I said, let's just, the money investment side, we'll just have the publications tell that story, and I'm not going to make a video. I think it's weird to make or self-serving to make a video saying like, we got $5 million. It's like, okay. Very appreciative and thank you. It's going to like allow us to do big things, but I wanted to show off the investment group. Some of those people have been around for a while. They came in, earlier. Some just came in with this new round. CAA reached out, and they have a lot of people on their roster of investors, and they said something like non-sports players. Like, is there any celebrities that you would want or be excited about, like if they came in, because they got to allocate some of theirs to their clients and stuff. And I was like totally had nothing. Now that I don't have celebrities I like, I was like thinking of like celebrities who are like, I like their movies, I like their like talk show appearances. There's like Paul Rudd, Jack Black. But I was like, but what I really like, if they like invested in the company, would it just feel like that? Like, or like, they don't actually genuine fans. But then Billy Crystal was the only name I sent. I said, because he's a Yankees fan. I've read Billy Crystal's books. I've seen his show on Broadway. I read Billy Crystal's book, 700 Sundays, and I think everyone should. And I for forever, I've been saying, like, I'd love to chat with him. I don't even know how I'd go about an interview because I just want to talk about so much. Directed 61, big Yankees fan. Kind of similar to me, where he was diehard Yankees fan, and then his life and entertainment got him to become friends with Mickey Mantle and be like friends with people. And it's like, oh shit, like now, like me now, I just hanging out with Coney and shit like that. So there's some cool conversations there, but he was the only one, and I think they were probably a little surprised by that. I was like, Billy Crystal is probably the only non like athlete that I would be like really like fist pumping, like tell my parents about. So,
It's a very interesting question. They didn't give you like a list of people. They just said name any celebrity.
yeah. So what they do is, and we're trying to get some like a hockey player or a hockey talent, because we're going to do a floor hockey tournament in the warehouse. We're trying to get someone to do the color commentary with Rose, and what they do is they just tell us people you like, and then we'll send our people and see if there's like we might not have this guy, but we have this guy who's very in the similar light, So if I was to say a Paul Rudd, maybe they'd be like, we don't have Paul Rudd, we have Jason Bateman. Like, he's very kind of similar. Like, that's how they mix and match it. So they just ask for general names, and then they try to like match it up. So yeah, I think in the end I did put like the Always Sunny guys, but see, I don't think they genuinely like care about the content. Whereas like Billy Crystal, like he might not consume it, but like the Yankees talk and the breakdowns, like if he hasn't, I think if you showed him, Probably doesn't tune in religiously because he's a busy guy, but he probably like, that's good. I like that. It's the Yankees, you know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of where I was like, I want people to be into it. Same with like the floor hockey, which I have this stick. Been practicing around the office. Very excited. I don't know when it's going to come out because obviously we have to film it. It's like a month out or 2 months out to film it and play. And then the turnaround, we're making the turnaround on these warehouse events longer. So our editing team doesn't go crazy because the turnaround on Blitzball Battle was like too quick and we really burdened ourselves. But, they say like, who do you want? And I say someone that wants to do it. Is like, I'd rather an F list that wants to do it than an A list that is there for a check and begrudgingly. Obviously, yeah. I think that's kind of obvious, but sometimes people just want names because they just want to like have them share and stuff. But so the investment's cool. Oh, and then like we kind of kept getting inquiries from other places or businesses or this or that. And again, not their fault because we've never shared the size and scope of us. But they'd kind of like sit down with me and Jake and do these like introductory calls and be like, so like, what's your story? Like, so you guys started a podcast? And we're like, no, yes. We have 50 employees now and, 40 different shows and then they're like, oh, wow. And it's like, fuck, we need to share this so we don't have to take calls with people that want to like partner with us, but have no idea who, like what and how big we are. And that like, we don't have time to just like get to know you calls. Yeah. If there's not going to be a tangible return. Right. And that's why we got to hire a CEO because I hate empty phone calls. I hate empty phone calls so much. And I hate people that email you and like, we love to chat about stuff. Like, oh, now we just email like, what do you want to chat about? Yeah. Is there like an action item here? Because we're pretty busy. I am. But that's why we need a CEO and some other people that can handle all that stuff so I can go back to being content and head of content and all that. That's what I like doing. Building the warehouse. It's like my favorite thing to do is build these tournaments. Dan the Tech Man, he was like the 45th employee at Vice, I believe. Vice was just a YouTube channel. Interesting. As far as I know, like when I consumed it, like early on. And now they do live news and they've grown like be a media conglomerate in a way. So he saw all that. So he's actually an awesome resource for me to be like, what? Hey, I need help. This and this. What's the position? Like, what's that title? And he's like, oh, that's a PM. You can get him for freelance. And I'm like, all right, we might need some of those. Interesting. To see these projects home. And more like management to get you guys help. Our editing crew, Zach, you, Rob, Rourke, Prizeman, Ronnie, Jack, have been like just taxed like crazy. So we're in the process of hiring more editors. You guys have been like grinding, which is good. And you help out, but I feel bad. Because there's like a million different projects. Like you guys are just like raising your hand or I'm asking you to raise your hand too often. It's nuts.
Speaking of the project managers, we'll talk off the air just because the last job I was at. Yeah. The project manager that was doing the project for my client and I, he was like the world's greatest human. And I don't know.
So just logistics, right? It's like, hey, okay, we're doing this floorball tournament on these dates. We need X amount of players to commit. We need flights for all of them, hotel for, and we have a team that helps with all of that stuff, but it's still kind of me top down thinking it through. And I still want to think it through. But we're trying to like build a rink, put like cushion down and then tile down. And like, I just ordered the sampling for the flooring and I kind of just want to be able to spout big level ideas and like, this is what I want. And Sam's really good at that. Bill's really good at they're good at acting on it, but we just need someone that's like, we'll take it home from my brain till the last episode reaches the public. Yep. Because, and that was, we told Dan like, for Blitzball Battle, like I developed the schedule and it was just me and I kind of directed it. That was a short film and I was like the producer and director of it basically. And he was like, yeah, it's wildly impressive you guys just did that on your own. I was like, yeah. I was like, none of you guys were camera operators before. No. Tom had never really done multiple camera editing before. Joe's had never done color commentary before. Eric had never done stats before. Like, no one had done any of it before. Zach, probably. I never directed a production that big before.
Rose
had done it before, yeah. And Kelsey done sideline before.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so hopefully with the Rays, able to get us that help at the management and structure and logistics. But, yeah, project manager seems, awesome. Just spreadsheets and timelines.
I hope it doesn't come off as rude, but I feel like it's just like professional organizing and note taking and like,
yeah, yes, that's what we need.
And it's a talent, like,
because I can do that. Like I made the Canva and I made the spreadsheets and I did all that, but it's not like the best use of my time right now.
Right.
Because I kind of like am like a hammer and a nail with it. It's not fluent to my brain, but I just try to do it. I didn't want to come up with it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I think we're trying to do triple elimination floor hockey. It's actually floor balls what we're playing. Because then every team gets 3 games minimum.
Right.
Triple elimination is pretty wild, though. But also the games are easier to structure, like 5-minute periods. So they're going to last around 40 minutes. Where blitzball, this game could be 15 minutes or it could be an hour and a half. We couldn't even schedule lunch. We just had no idea when they would end. So now it's like, all right, let's record 3 games back to back to back. The whole crew is going to know, like, chop, chop, chop. Hour break for lunch. Second session, 3 games. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
It's going to be easier that way.
Nice.
Yeah. We're going to the warehouse tomorrow to do something fun. And I don't know what should be a surprise anymore or what shouldn't be. But I guess this podcast isn't that big, so anyone that listens can deserve some insight. We're trying to do glow-in-the-dark blitzball tomorrow in the warehouse. We got glow-in-the-dark tape to put on the strike zone and the foul lines. And we got glow-in-the-dark paint to paint. We painted the balls. And then we have glow sticks that I think we're putting on like the outer edge of the walls so no one runs in the wall. And then we all have light up sneakers. So that hopefully it's pitch dark.
Yeah.
And like some cameras will film it just pitch dark and then the other cameras will have the night vision.
Right.
But we'll be mic'd up. I don't know how it's going to go. It could be a failed video, but it's kind of like a one-off video.
Yeah.
I think people will click on it just like glow in the dark blitzball. And I think it'll be fun.
The warehouse gets wildly dark. If you're the last person to shut the lights off.
Yeah.
Because you have to walk through the warehouse.
Dark. Yeah.
In the dark. Yeah.
Yeah. It gets really dark. It reminds me of being a little kid. My dad would coach like 4th and 5th grade basketball at our elementary school. And we would close up and he would turn the lights off and we would like same thing. It's really weird how that works, right? Like, so I'm 33 years old, but every time I turn the lights off in the warehouse and walk, I think about when I was like 6 and I would do that with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is like me and my dad. Basketball. Brain and memories are weird.
Very.
All right, want to take another call? We got 10 minutes or so. This was a really meandering episode.
Everywhere. Trader Joe's been in here since the jump, so.
Is that Joe's? Or is it someone that named themselves Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe.
Trader Joe.
Yeah.
So not Joe's McFly, who is a trader of baseball players.
Correct. So Trader Joe is invited. We'll see if he joins or her, I guess.
Okay. All right. They're coming. Trader Joe. Trader Joe. Trader Joe.
Hello, am I here?
Trader Joe, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. How did you get your name Trader Joe? Is this like a nickname or did you make it? How did you get the name Trader Joe? That's my first question.
I play a lot of fantasy baseball. My name is Joe. I play a lot of fantasy baseball, and I do lots and lots of trades.
Wow. You just pestering people nonstop?
Anytime anybody gets any kind of value that I can then trade that one player for more than one person, I always sell. I sell everything all the time. Currently, I'm refusing to sell Nestor, though, because he's too good.
Yeah, don't sell him. He's too good.
It's been great. Yeah, I famously made a trade. Granted, this is going to sound worse than it is.
Okay.
But I kind of took a Dipoto move. I made a fantasy baseball trade while my wife wasn't in labor, but we were at the hospital.
I mean, there's a lot of downtime.
So like in the waiting, there's plenty of downtime. But yeah, so that's my my claim to fame is I made a trade while my wife was. So
I sat there and did the blitzball battle planning. Made all the spreadsheets I'm talking about while we were in the
right.
waiting for James to come.
Makes sense. I just kind of wanted to call to say that I love all the content. I've absolutely developed a parasocial relationship with you and Jake. I talk about the two of you to all of my friends, and now all of my best friends are convinced that I was destined to be best friends with you two and not with them. And so I've ruined most of my other relationships, but that's all right because y'all put out so much content that I can just keep consuming the things that you do.
I like that.
So yeah, just thanks for being awesome. And then I had one teeny tiny challenge of a thing. I put together an all-time. I'm a Dodgers fan from California originally. I put together an all-time no overlap Dodgers that I like a lot.
That was a fun exercise we did with the Yankees. What's your?
Yeah.
I'm not going to know, the years and what like other options could be, but what's your lineup real quick?
It'll be pretty good. I'll blow through it real quick. Pitcher Fernando from 80 to 90.
Nice.
Boom. Catcher Yasmani Grandal. He was 15 to 18. First base I wasn't as familiar with. Dolph Camille. He played from 38 to 43. That's a good baseball reference. You should look it up. He mashed. Second base, Jackie Robinson, 47 to 56. Third base, Adrian Beltre, 98 to 04. And I had to cut out Mike Piazza, who's my favorite player, to get Beltre in, but I did it.
Beltre,
shortstop,
6-year window.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, shortstop Maury Wills, 59 to 72. I was excited to get Robinson and Wills. It's a very like fast team. The Yankees had much more power, obviously, for your all-time team. Left field, I sort of stole what y'all did with like just slotting in Ricky, even though like, do you consider him a Yankee? So I put in Manny Ramirez from 08 to 10. Center field, Brett Butler.
Year,
right, yeah. Right. And so you get him as that year, but I mean, and Torrey was managing him and everything. It's a whole thing. Center, Brett Butler, 91 to 97, and then right field is Mookie from 20 to now.
I was wondering so wait, do you have anyone from the 10s?
The 10s are, Grandal is from 15 to 18.
What about 2000 to 2014?
That's Mookie. Also, 2000, 2014.
No, 2000, the year 2000 to the year 2014.
Beltre is 98 to 04, but I have a gap between, I guess, and then Manny picks up at 08.
Oh, okay.
And left. And so that's kind of where the gap is.
I wonder if you took Kershaw instead, if you could find gaps the other way.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
I would have to, because then I'd have to replace, if I took Kershaw, right, I'd have to replace catcher left and right. And so it gets tricky. And again, Dodgers have, some phenomenal catchers, so it felt weird to have it be Grandal, who's fine. I mean, he's not like a top 3 or 4 all-time Dodger catcher.
The other Dodgers fans should do is they should start with Kershaw, because the best pitcher in the organization's history,
right,
and see where that lands them. I think that would be the only way to compete. Like
right.
Like for us, it was Jeter or A-Rod basically. So some people chose A-Rod and they made different ones.
Well, when I built it originally and I didn't have Robinson, I was like, that's a bad look.
That is a tough one.
Let's get him in there, and then Maury. So it's fast and scrappy, but I liked it. Felt good about it.
I got the no overlay Yankees beating those Dodgers. So
you've got more power. But who was your starter again?
I forget. Guidry maybe.
I forget too. See, Fernando on the bump.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Pretty good. The old Ephus. Cool. All right, thanks, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
See ya. I pulled up Dolph Camille's baseball reference, obviously, before he even said to. Led the league in intentional base on balls one year. He's got a good amount of black on his page for a non-Hall of Famer. 12-year career, 136 OPS plus. Led the league in RBIs and home runs in 41. Led the league in walks 2 times. Led the league in strikeouts 3 times. Led the league in on-base percentage 1 time. MVP votes in 7 years. But only 2 top 10 votes. And then he won MVP in 1941. An old game I used to do on morning. I'm going to go to this dude, Dolph Camille's debut game, his first game ever. and we're going to read the names. It was September 9th, Chicago Cubs versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Wow, it went 13 innings. The Phillies won in the 13th inning. Final score 3-2. Phillies took an early lead, 2-0 after 2. Cubs scored 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th to tie it, and then the Phillies won by scoring a run in the 13th. Let's see the names. See if we have some good names here. Ready? Chick, Dick, Chuck. That's the first 3 batters on the Philadelphia Phillies on this game.
Incredible first 3. I thought that was one person at first.
Incredible. This is why this is one of my favorite games. You think, how could this be fun? We're just going to read the names from a lineup back in the day, and then you get fucking Chick, Dick, and Chuck as the first 3 batters. You kidding me? Chick Fullis, Dick Bartell, and Chuck Klein. Batting cleanup was Don. Batting 5th was Spud. Chick, Dick, Chuck, Don, and Spud.
All one syllable.
Sound like Dalmatians. After Spud was Wes. Chick, Dick, Chuck, Don, Spud, Wes, Mickey was the second base. Jim was at third, and Phil was pitching.
I love that.
Chick, Dick, Chuck, Don, Spud, and Wes. That's nuts, man. Oh my God, so stupid. For the Cubs, Stan, Billy, Kiki, Babe, Riggs, Dolph, Gabby, Billy, and Charlie.
That was for the Cubs. I'll take the Phillies.
Take the Phillies. Riggs is pretty cool. Babe's pretty cool. Kiki's pretty cool because it's probably not like Enrique, which is how we know it now. Kiki. First name was Hazen.
That makes sense.
How the fuck do you get the name? Let me see if I can find it. He gained his nickname as a child when it was simply Kai. Oh, his name is Kai Kai. It's pronounced Kai Kai because his name was Kyer. His last name's Kyer. So it was Kai, and so it's Kai Kai Kyler.
That's funny.
It's Kai Kai Kyler. But they also had Riggs. That's probably a nickname. Babe's probably a nickname. Not like even just like, obviously Billy's a nickname and Stan, but
yeah.
Actually, Riggs, Jackson Riggs Stevenson, nickname Old Hoss. Babe Herman. Holy shit, did you know there's a Babe Herman that isn't? Oh, okay. I think what happened here is his name is Floyd Caves Herman, and maybe because his name was Herman, they started calling him Babe.
Right.
But he debuted in 26. It seems like that has to be the case, though, right? He would get his nickname because of Babe Ruth and his last name being Herman.
Yeah, that
has to be.
Yeah.
Charlie Root. Both pitchers pitched all 13 innings. Phil Collins and Charlie Root. The Cubs didn't pinch hit, pinch run, or make any substitutions all 13 innings. The Phillies pinch hit for Jim McLeod and then replaced with Harry McCurdy. And then McCurdy got replaced at third base by Jack Warner. So, I love Baseball Reference, man.
So cool.
Chick, Dick, Chuck, Don. That's stupid. Spud. Anything else to talk about? It's kind of the end of the show. The Baseball Today is going to start. This was a very directionless episode. Maybe write-in questions might help too. If anyone wants to how would the best way to get questions
Just tweet
to you?
the questions.
Just tweet them at you?
At Morning.
It's like at Morning by Jomboy. If they don't have Twitter, they can leave a comment on this YouTube video, and you'll go through them and find good ones.
I'll go through. Yeah, it's Twitter is at Morning by Jomboy, and then I'll look at the comments as well before next week's episode.
Yeah, we'll take calls obviously, but then maybe the questions, and then I want to get a better sense for what people enjoy because this was just a rambling episode. Maybe they like. We touched on some important stuff. Congrats on 900 million views. Isn't that wild? It's a dumb number. Like a really dumb 900 million. I don't even get it. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be cooler. I was like, nah, I'm not going to post this one. I'm going to wait till we have 10 million? And 10. What would the next number?
Billion.
Is that a billion?
Yeah.
It is? That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, does a billion come next? Because then
1,000 million.
I was like, then don't post this one, Jimmy, because 900 million isn't a billion, and a billion is cool. And then I thought, well, it might take a while to get 100 million more views. Maybe.
Probably like
I don't know.
100 to 200 videos.
Some of the breakdowns are getting like 1 million. I just released a bunch that won't get crazy amount of views, but they're all the like challenger leagues, like the lacrosse and the cricket, and those lead to new audiences, and they lead to like sometimes those leagues reaching out and working with us on bigger and more fun stuff. So they're definitely hold a lot of value.
Hey,
even without like, you know, the same views as baseball and football and the other shit.
One more Boone blow up and we're at 1 billion.
Yeah. Come on, Booney. What did he say? You make the adjustment, Booney. Get out of my face.
I don't know what day it was last week with you
just saying that.
Walking around the office saying that.
Get out of my face. Ow. It's good. Matt hit his knee. And now we're out. I'll play the Shins music again. I like this song. This song, the lyrics, I'm like, how do you write that? Wow, you really hurt your knee, huh?
Fuck.
I would have danced like a king of the ice was